Finally, after more than a year on the market, it was time to close the deal. The attorney piled up the carefully banded dollar bills the buyer had brought in a pretty pink bag. The bag looked like those cosmetic cases some women take on a plane. Nobody sells or buys a home in pesos in Argentina. A couple of hours went by as we counted the thousands of dollars that I was about to get for the home I grew up in. The bank had promised a counting machine, but it had provided a room without an electric outlet. The transaction was complete. The buyers and their attorneys said their goodbyes and left. The pile of money was lying on the long conference table, like a kid's game of Monopoly. We all looked at each other. Without any prompt, as if on cue, we all got up and started stuffing packs of bills in our underwear. It was a surreal scene. My 80-year-old mother-in-law was definitely the expert. She was showing everybody how to best position the bills above the tush. God forbid they would start sliding down her stockings. Raul, the realtor my cousin had recommended, was a very professional guy. He told us that once we left the building, we would walk 2 by 2 and watch for each other, just in case something were to happen. My brother-in-law, who is a realtor and attorney himself, was visibly nervous, anticipating the number of blocks we would have to walk together at a discreet distance to bring our cash to safety. Our pockets, bags, shoes, underwear were full of $100 bills. We left the conference room in silence and walked in front of a long line of people that were waiting at the bank's cashiers. They all glanced at us. I tried to look casual. The main city square, with the balcony Evita made famous, is a sprawling area surrounded the main cathedral of Buenos Aires and the Argentinian presidential palace. Men in suits and black attaché cases and skinny women in heels rushed around us. Walking next to Raul, his eyes darting here and there, made me feel a little safer. At the end of the day, we all sat down for a cortado and a muted cheer. We were all still in one piece. I had relied on all those machinations and all these people to sell an apartment that I loved. I was a character in a heist, except there was no heist. A US citizen, firmly attached to the rule of law, who had left Argentina precisely because I couldn't stand this way of life. I had closed a painful chapter. I had disposed of the home of my father's dreams, Argentinian style. The truck carrying the shipping container sat in my driveway. 2 young guys started unloading the 66 boxes that the international movers in Buenos Aires had carefully packed under my watch. The seemingly infinite number of boxes with my father's books, the fragile labeled ones with my grandmother's china, and the larger ones full of family memorabilia I couldn't leave behind. Then, with the help of a trolley, the men pushed a heavy box up the stairs. The 250-pound, 5-feet-tall sculpture my mother had carved rose up from its sleeping pose. The men left. I sat on the couch and stared at the sculpture as she looked back at me. We had all come home.